The examinations that we create are complicated in their construction because they involve multiple levels. They start off with an exam writer and an item writer who crafts an individual item. And that item writer might come from a variety of backgrounds, largely academic, but also private practice. And the goal really is to provide a relevant item that challenges the candidate somewhat, but in fact is within the range of what we expect a competent radiologist to know in their practice. And with that in mind, that item then is subject to multiple levels of review. It's subject to editorial review to make sure that it is unambiguous, to make sure that it is phrased in a predictable way so that the candidate is not trapped into this nature of a trick question or some phraseology that might be confusing. But in addition, it is subject to content review by multiple levels of people. Full committees, groups of smaller committees, ultimately the final review that says, okay, is this item ready to go because it is valid, it's been vetted out through these multiple levels, the multiple tiers. So we go to great lengths to craft an examination that is correct, and that is that it will not represent a pitfall, a trick, a trap for any of the candidates. Those sorts of items actually don't serve us very well. We're after items and test questions that are predictable in the way in which they would separate out those individuals who are highly competent from those individuals who perhaps are in need of some remediation or really have less than a perfect grasp of the material. That said, when we then establish the passing score, if you will, that's something of a misnomer because our standards are based on the level of difficulty of the question, not based on a certain percent correct of the exam items. So of many items that might be offered in, for example, our initial core examination, hundreds of items, they all have a separate passing standard, if you will. That is the number of individuals who are competent that we expect to get the question correct. Beyond that, then we don't have a mechanism, nor do we have the intent or the desire to modify the number of people who might pass our test in a given year. It could be a very large number. In a different year, it could be slightly smaller. But the fact is that this standard is established by professionals in the field, peers, who have really established a requisite passing standard based on each individual item that might be on a given examination. And I think it's important for people to understand. We don't have a threshold, we don't have a curve, we don't have a set number of people that we'd like to see pass the test or not pass the test. We're merely maintaining what a peer group has said, a large number of volunteers who have assessed each item and established what they expect competence to look like. And that's why it's an especially complicated process.